Hello Manual staff, this is Chris. I'm going to just provide an overview of tomorrow night's back to school night. I know many of you have done this event before, but if you're new to Manual, I want to make sure that just an overview and expectations were as clear as possible in order to answer questions or alleviate any concerns you may have about the event. So we're going to just go through three big parts. One, like the how do we get set up and make sure we're prepared, and then an overview of what back to school night will look like, and then how do you even get to the meetings in the first place. And so our first step is just kind of seeing how to access the resources available to you. The first place to start is a document I shared last week called Back to School Night 2020-2021, and in this document you will see a overview of the night, so starting at 6 o'clock, and then when breakout groups happen according to grade level, and where parents and guardians can go to have questions answered by the administrative team. So our night tomorrow night will start at 6 and should be done between 7 and 7:30, depending on how many questions our community has for our administrative team. So tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, you will start at this URL right here, this tiny URL titled Manual Back to School Start. And that is the link that is going out to our community. And that is a Zoom meeting to make sure that our parents can access it if they don't have a .dpsk12.net account. So Zoom will be our method of discussion tomorrow night, and you will start there. Once you start there, Joe and the administrative team will give an overview of the school and who they are and introduce themselves in that session. And around 6:30, you will go to your grade level groups. So if you don't know your grade level groups, you can go down on this page and view them right here. I am well aware that not everyone is present here. There are a couple of elective reps who are not here, and I'll cover that in a little bit and point you in a direction if you're like, but wait, I don't see my name. I'll have an answer for you in a little bit here. Once you go to your grade level rooms, those rooms are literally hosted by an administrator. The Zoom link is. So for example, I'm hosting the 9th grade meeting, and we'll all get to that Zoom link with our parents and guardians, and we will have our welcome to 9th grade back to school night presentation up. And we'll have this for each respective grade level based on your grade level group. For this particular group, and for the other groups as well, the host, the administrator, will give an overview of the session and kick it off to the first person. So I will welcome parents and guardians in, and then I will pass the mic over to Miss Albers, who will give an overview of her class, and we'll just head on down the line. This will be presented off my screen, and so there might need to be a, hey, let's move to the next slide, in which case I will move to the next slide, just to give an overview of each individual teacher. So as we do that in each grade level, we'll make sure that each teacher has time to give an overview of themselves and of the course. Now, one thing to note, this session should only be about 30 minutes, which for the 9th grade specifically, because there are so many, that limits you to about 3 to 4 minutes per person to give an overview of yourself and the class. So be mindful of time as you go through. We want to make sure we respect the time of those who are in the meetings. Once we get down to the bottom here, you'll see a slide for the electives, and those have been updated based on current elective offerings. Similar to last year, our elective teachers are going to both give an overview of themselves and the elective offerings at Manual this year. And so, for example, here, Mr. Go will talk about himself and the courses that he teaches, as well as give an overview of the elective offerings at Manual and the shifts we've made to electives and concurrent enrollment based on guidelines for coronavirus. So that is how the electives will be discussed. If there are other elective teachers who want to pop into other grade level meetings, they are able to do so. Just make sure that you're back in time for, or you leave after you talk about your own grade level. I also want to point out the work here for Julie. Julie is doing such amazing work. She will not be able to attend all meetings at one time, so make sure to cover this amazing information about the mobile library and library resources for your particular grade level. That can either be from the elective teacher or from the administrator in the room. Same goes for information around PE, fitness, and wellness here at Manual. So that it will be our work for tomorrow. Once you are done in your grade level meetings, teachers, you can hold on to any questions you have. You might go after 7 o'clock, but you can also then push students and parents back to the original Zoom meeting, in which case they can talk to Joe or the administrative team and have their questions answered by that team. So again, the links can be found both for you as staff in this document here, and links to your respective slideshows. But for our parents and guardians and community, we will push out these links tomorrow night. Same links are as the ones listed in that one-pager on the other tab. And so you'll see here both the starting link for the Zoom meeting as well as the question and answer. It is the same link, but just with different tiny URLs. So you can post that in the chat, and your administrator in that room can also make sure that they're posting links to those rooms for parents, guardians, and communities to access when they're done with their grade level meetings. So for teachers tomorrow, really be prepared to speak through your slide. So Rhonda's done a really nice job here of giving an overview of herself and of her course, and then to answer any initial questions that parents and guardians may have. The last thing I want to mention, if there are translation needs, we're going to try to identify those needs in the initial breakout session, or in the initial whole group session, sorry, not breakout session, in the initial whole group session, and Gabby and Shanti will be available for translation needs. So we're going to try to do it in-house with those Spanish speakers we have in the building. If they are in your rooms, we'll have that list from the initial session, and the administrator over that particular room will reach out to one of those two supports for translation services tomorrow. So tomorrow during the day, in addition to Teachers College, you'll also make sure that you have these slides done and prepared by the time we kick off back to school night at 6. As always, if you have questions, concerns, need clarification, whatever the case may be, please reach out to me. I'm happy to walk through any of your questions with you. We know tomorrow will be a very successful night, and we're excited to learn how this event goes in a remote setting, knowing that we may be giving more access to our parents and guardian and community by offering it in this format. And I'm sure there will be some significant lessons learned around how we make sure that our community accesses back to school night moving forward. As always, just so appreciate the work you do for our kids and our community. And like I said, if you have questions, call, text, email, whatever you need, so you make sure you feel prepared and supported for back to school night tomorrow night. Thank you all so much. We'll see you on Zoom. Later.